Jane Chinaza Okoye, a beautiful girl from Nigeria, comes from a Catholic family. Her parents believe strongly in the traditions of the land and warn their children never to break any rules. They emphasize the implications of doing so and consistently reminded their kids. One faithful day, Jane went to church and heard about a pilgrimage visit to Israel. Excited, as she always wanted to see the beautiful things and places she read about in the Bible about Israel. Jane is currently working in the bank as an accountant and hasn't applied for any of her leaves since she started work. She's so excited about this opportunity. This will be her very first time ever to leave her country to a different country. The next Sunday after the church mass was over, those who intend to travel were asked to wait and fill a form. One information included was parents' information, state of origin, and so on. After filling the form and paying a sum of 5,000 naira to support the work of God, she went back to the church, said a short prayer at the statue of Mary, and left. When she got home, she called her parents to inform them about her plans to join the pilgrimage visit to Israel. They were completely overwhelmed and encouraged her to go on with it. Her parents are devoted Christians and are knights in the church. When Jane and her church members arrived in Israel, they were welcomed by other pilgrims. The priest in charge showed them where they will be resting, and they were given something to eat and drink by their coordinating priest. While she was eating, she noticed a white, cute guy looking at her with a smile on his face. She was shy at first, but he made it so obvious and even winked his eyes. That was when she felt a bit uncomfortable and checked if she had poured food on her dress, but there wasn't any. The next day when they were visiting places, she felt someone tapping her. When she turned, to her greatest surprise, it was the white guy from yesterday. They exchanged greetings. Then the white guy quickly introduced himself. "I'm John Scott." "And you're?" Jane responded, "I'm Jane. Nice to meet you, John." "I'm sorry about yesterday. Did I make you feel uncomfortable?" said John. "Not really, but why were you looking at me?" replied Jane. John quickly responded, "You're pretty, and I love your dimples." They smiled at each other and quickly hurried to meet up with other pilgrims. Jane and John talked throughout their stay in Israel. He was curious about her culture and traditions, as he had never been to her country before. Jane told him all he needed to know based on the questions he asked. She also asked about John's culture. John is from Europe. He couldn't stop telling her nice things about his place and promised to take her places whenever she visits. Pilgrimage visit has come to an end. It was time for everyone to return home. Jane and John quickly exchanged numbers and mail addresses. They promised to keep in touch and to visit one another when they can. It's 1 month post-pilgrimage. Everyone is back and has returned to their daily lives. Jane is back to her stressful and time-consuming work. One faithful day, she got a letter and gift from John, telling her how he misses her, with picture cards of them together while on pilgrimage. She was so excited to hear from him again, so she quickly checked her diary to locate where she wrote his number. She called him, thanked him for the gift, and for reaching out too. Few months later, they started calling and chatting every day and couldn't wait to see each other. Distance couldn't allow them to do so. On the other hand, John couldn't stop telling his family about a pretty damsel he met during his visit to Israel. She's beautiful. She speaks English fluently. Her dimples are to die for. Her brown eyes could elevate your soul. His parents were in awe with his depth of description about Jane. They couldn't wait to see her. One day, during their routine phone calls, John told her he would like to pay her a visit, which she gladly accepted, and told him all the necessary information he needed and where she would be picking him up from. She had to take a leave from work to entertain her guest. Well, John arrived in Nigeria, and he's so excited to see his beautiful friend, his ebony beauty. When he landed at the airport, Jane was already there, waiting to pick him up. Jane took him home. They ate and had a little conversation before going to bed. John brought out a beautiful diamond ring and told Jane he would like to take things seriously and make her his wife. Jane, filled with excitement, quickly said yes. The next day, Jane took John to visit various places in Nigeria. John was eager to see Jane's parents. He asked her, "What kind of people are your parents? Do you think they will accept me? Do you think I will be good enough in their sight? Do you think being white will be an issue?" Jane told him, "Don't worry yourself over anything. They are lovable people. Just be you. Don't try so hard to please them. They will figure it out if you do. So she took him to her village the next week. When they got to her home, Jane introduced him to her parents. John greeted them and he was warmly welcomed. He then told Jane's parents his intentions to marry their beloved daughter, which they quickly declined. They refused outright and told him not to worry. They can be friends, but they can't get married. Jane's mother quickly asked, "Hope you people haven't done anything right?" Jane quickly responded, "Mama now, no, we haven't." John was ready to prove his love for Jane. He pleaded with them to consider his request. He was told, "If you want to marry our daughter, you must know about her tradition and know how her people value their land. Also, coming back for festivals and other necessary meetings. You can't carry her to a strange land where she has no one," they added. John was ready to go to any length to prove his love. "Also, hope you aren't carrying her to turn her to a slave in your place," they added. John quickly said no. He learned about her culture and promised that after marriage she will return always for all events, but her parents were not okay with it. John sincerely loves Jane, so he had to look for a way out. Knowing that Jane's parents won't say no to a priest, he had to plead with the priest of their church to intercede. The priest accepted to help him. The priest spoke to the Okoyes and gave them his words. After the meeting with the priest, they accepted John's offer. He was told to come back after some months to marry her traditionally. Jane's dad wanted to use the opportunity to get information about him and his family before his next visit. So he sent letters to his townspeople over there to find out about John. They responded back stating that John has a good record and is from a good home. Jane's dad quickly gave his daughter his blessings and told her when next John visits, you're permitted to get married to him. John visited again, got married to Jane, and took her with him to Europe. When Jane arrived in Europe, she was welcomed by John's family. They were kind to her and helped her adjust to the environment quickly. As John promised, Jane always visited her people. Something to hold on to. Jane and John had quite a journey together, navigating cultural differences and gaining acceptance from Jane's family. It's heartening to see their commitment to each other and their willingness to honor each other's traditions. This story highlights the importance of mutual respect, understanding, and compromise in relationships.
Please like, subscribe, comment, share, turn on the notification bell to get more interesting stories like this.